today we're just going to talk a little bit about what Carlos's inspirations are, what led him to make the work that he does, and why it's so important to discuss pieces like this and the connections that they have to our communities. So Carlos, if you could just start by telling me a little bit about what got you started in art. Why art?
I always knew I had abilities, and I've been blessed that way, and I give my credit up to the one supreme person that gave me that so I can share with others. But I didn't understand the significance or the magnitude of my creative abilities until I got much older. But I was always drawing, sketching. Marvel Comics, as I've told my students, were my art teachers, and cartoons, and it's appreciating some of the classics. Looney Tunes, Disney, Spider-Man, those things, because I had a lot of time, because I dealt with a lot of personal issues as far as coming up with isolation and trying to get away from the problems that my parents were having, being a product of a dysfunctional family with alcoholism and spousal abuse and just emotional distress. And so I needed an outlet. But so I found myself being able to channel and really explore and become invisible in my artwork. And so that was an opportunity for me to just get involved and create, because I had so much emotion. I learned how to suppress feelings because they hurt a lot, but they can come out in the artwork. And I've taught my students, you have to let it out. You cannot just keep that emotion in, because it can hurt, the pain, the anger, the frustration. And when it comes out, then you can look at it at a later time and start to understand it.
How does that element feed into the work that's in this show?
Reflections is something I came up with that name when I was in grad school, my first solo art show, and it was Reflections. And I said, okay, it's a reflection of what I've done in that time period. And now so I carried it on. The second one became Reflections of. And then this one, Reflections of Mental Health. So I was given a theme. And it was really good that you guys gave me an opportunity to share, because I'm the one that can do that, from my opinion. But looking at the work and the experiences that I've had over the years and working in the psychiatric ward unit at 19. And so I embraced some of the schizophrenia, the psychosis that was taking place there. I ran into some people. Everyone has an influence on my opinion, on each other's lives. And it's how we take it, it's how we receive it. And that was important for me, because I could sit there. I didn't have time to have a sketchbook there, but it was a mental sketchbook. Mm-hmm. I see seclusion. I remember these things. I can look into the psych ward, and I can see the anger, I can see the expression, I can see the hurt, I can see the pain of the residents. And so I knew that one day I was going to end up in a field where I could express these emotions. I can look at them and from talking with adults that had attempted suicide, people that were on PCP, and just to look at them. And some of the pieces that I have here were a reflection, inspired by reflections of what I've seen and what I feel and what I still feel. These emotions, expressions are with you, but I can't hold on to them forever inside, so I have to let them out. And so they came out in this particular show. And I knew that I could use this art to help others as a goal. I may not be successful all the time, but in dealing with the students and giving them an opportunity to express their innermost pain and aggressions and joys and successes, and to have them do that, I think that was pretty good. And so a lot of these pieces here were the reflections of what I felt, what I've experienced. And I've just used a little color, exaggeration, and some of the technical teaching aspects of art to incorporate those into the pieces. There's a form of expression that they can all have, and I've told them all that, we are all artists. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times society, creativity is just not the best thing to do, because that's not going to get you paid, it's not going to make you money. And a lot of times it's not about money. Teaching has never been about money. You need to pay your bills. But it's not about money, but it's about who can you touch, in my opinion, and let them feel good and better about themselves. And so I've been able to do that with many students. You can't save them all. I told my kids, high school kids and middle school and so forth, I said, you know, every experience is something you can learn from. And you can take it negative or good, but figure it out and make it work. Don't dwell on it. Don't allow it to take you into depression and just become submerged. And because, you know, I played around with depression. I wanted to see how it felt. I wanted to see if I could drown and then come out of it. So teaching at high school level, middle school level was perfect for me because then I can touch thousands. You know, this was fun. This really was. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And I think it helped people as far as, you know, the ones I've spoken with during the opening of the show. And I had some people in tears because
October is Mental Health Awareness and Screening Month. So that's, you know, it really tied into something that was happening in our community. So, you know, having you come in here with these pieces that are directly addressing mental health, that are dealing with mental health and destigmatizing in many ways. It's not putting anything as a negative, not passing judgment, merely showing. These are very typical and almost universal struggles, and especially with the time that we're in right now.
And I've told the kids, I said, look, and I'll do different illustrations and whatnot and do a dot with a circle around. I said, you're in the middle. And then just embrace it with lines. So it's just nothing but just darkness or whatever. And then I say, what are you going through? Because this is you. All this other stuff is the crap you're dealing with. And then they'll start to label everything. And I said, now it's up to you to be selfish enough to think about yourself and then focus so you can find an opening. And then I said, now if we can get out of that circle, and then I'll ask them, one of the tools I'll use is, you are the person that's telling your friend is in the circle that you care about. What would you tell them to do? So they get to be that outside influence, and they don't realize that they're analyzing themselves, and then they can help themselves because they can take their eyes off of their own emotion and their pain, and then help themselves. But so I tell them, everybody has a destiny, and I said, but what you have to do, you cannot allow your circumstances to break you. You let it make you. Let it be a reason to be successful. And they're going to tug on you. I'm going to pull on your jacket right now.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So they're going to come up to you. And it could be 100 people. It could be 1,000, but they're going to come to you. And they'll say, well, how do they know to come to you? They're going to tug on you. And the kid will say, because they know I understand their pain. And when they tug, I said, if you're not around, you're going to miss out on the blessing of that person. Because that could be the person that can overcome the hatred in America, in the world. That could be the one that becomes a scientist that develops something that cures all illness or something like that. I said, so you have to be there for that person. That is your destiny. So you're going through everything you're going through for a reason. So then they're like, wait a minute, there's some self-worth. But if you can get out there and you're just out there and just touching people's hearts and their souls and say, hey, you know, the spirit is right. And that's what I try to do. I try to do that and through the artwork, and through the expression, and through what you guys gave me an opportunity to do. You know, I enjoy it. And I can reach that kid that other people are afraid of. And you know, I say, hey, this is fear. This is anger now. How do you handle it? And the kids are angry, and we got to teach them how to express it.
Great. Well, thank you again. Is there anything else that you haven't had a chance to say about your art that you would want to make sure that people know?
Well, I know that art is life, and life is art, and it's an old cliche, but I truly believe that. And as far as mine is, it's still evolving. It continues to be a reflection. You know, I'm always looking for another avenue to express it in, you know, and make sure that the arts are something that is well supported by the community. Orange is doing an excellent job. You guys are doing a wonderful job here, and giving those students, these artists, students, no matter what their ages are, that opportunity to express themselves, and then to openly share, to openly, you know, help one another through the arts. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the visual arts. You know, there's a garden back there you guys are doing. That's art. And people don't understand it. And so all forms, you know, and it's never about what I do, but it's about what I've done for others.